Hello everybody and welcome back to Rogue Tech, where we are beginning our offensive against the Japanese. They are officially out of manpower. Well, they have 252 manpower. They were officially out of manpower. But we are assuming that they're going to be proper out of manpower here. There's only so much that they can do to resist us, and it's a matter of time at this point until they get pushed back. They're taking huge losses in India. And there's very little that they can do about that. They're taking losses over here as well in the South Pacific. So this is really not good for Japan. We're going to start pushing in up over here as well. And that will be fantastic. What is our infantry actually equipped with? Kind of a smattering of infantry equipment types. Mostly infantry equipment 2, even though we've been producing infantry equipment 3 for a long time. How much infantry equipment 3 do we actually have right now? 1.2 million of type infantry equipment. But how much of that is actually infantry equipment 3? That I don't know, and we're not really producing much infantry equipment 3 because all of our resources are going into tanks right now. And we've actually lost our production efficiency on infantry equipment 3 because of it. But I guess that's okay. We have a lot of infantry equipment, not of the best type, in storage, but it's okay. So that'll be fine. We are continuing to attack the Japanese over here, but there's only so much that they can do to resist. Interesting that it's still snowy in June, but it's starting to thaw, finally. And then we're going to be able to push our way in theory. Emphasis on the in theory. You backing off? No. What is the actual mission here? Okay, we're pushing in here. I gotcha. So we're rearranging for that. Okay. Sounds good to me. The generals appear to largely know what they're doing, other than not really pushing over here. But that's not shocking, because this is a fairly weak force. I would like to take over these two states. That would be fantastic to see, because we can start building infrastructure there and solve these logistics issues. It's pretty necessary that we push our way in. Okay. Who's advancing over to here? Okay, this guy. Sure. And they got reinforcements there in time, but we're good. We pushed them back out. Fantastic. And they're instantly attacking us, and we're in retreat. Okay. We do have additional units on the way there. We may lose that territory, but that's okay if we do. We had basically no organization there, which is not surprising. So the question is... Yeah, there's quite a number of things in that state still. If we could take this province here and this province here, we would for sure control this state. I kind of feel like telling these lads over here to attack. They're doing it on their own, and they're not very good at it. Fantastic. So we're going to grab Advanced Anti-Tank 3 instead. Wonderful. Carrier CAS, close air support, has finished up. That's fine. We're going to continue working our way through this tree. Not like it's particularly helpful for us. We're not really producing all that much for aircraft at this moment, I don't think. Actually, we are producing a decent chunk of aircraft. We can do something along the lines of this and back off a little bit like that on our modern tanks to toss those into jet fighter 2s. Excellent. That does put us a little bit short on our aluminum, and we should do something about that. It's not hugely short on the aluminum. There we go. That'll work. And of course, we are continuing to aggressively attack over here. Yeah, we pushed them back over here again and then retreated immediately. That's fairly expected. How are they doing on their manpower? Are they recovering? No, they are not. As expected. Absolutely magnificent. Unfortunately, we are below 400,000. But we can keep this up for a while yet. We do have 200 jet fighters over here, and we have a bunch of planes over here, but there's barely anything that we can reach from this airbase at this time. So that's definitely a problem. Definitely a problem. The Japanese are still considered stronger over here, but they can't keep this up forever. I'm going to put this guy back into balanced here, just to let our organization build up again. I feel like that's going to be very, very important. We're definitely having a bit of a hard time pushing into Japan. They have some pretty defensible locations over here, right? This is all pretty much on a river, except for up here, which is in woods. This is all river. Through here. This is river. This is all river over here. Yeah, they have a fair amount of defensible terrain that is going to be difficult for us to push through. But we're just going to keep this up and take our opportunities where we can get them. Recon Company 3 just finished up. That's fine. And we're going to grab Recon Company 4. Excellent. We can also start dropping nukes on them if we so desire. I'm still mostly interested in banking these nukes up. I think that's the most important thing here. And when Japan capitulates, we're going to get back our territory over here that they took. Plus, we're going to take some territory from them ourselves. And hopefully we'll get some decent territory that generates us some steel and chromium. That would be very useful because that's very important to us. Very important indeed. I wish there was a way to tell this guy, go ahead and wait until the organizations build up a little bit higher. What's the max organization here? Okay. So yeah, go ahead and wait until the organization builds up a little bit higher, but be more willing to attack into the face of superior forces. I wish there was a way to tell him that. Unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, such a thing does not exist. Which is very unfortunate. You can see here that their average supply is starting to go down. At least in some of these areas. Their organization is still pretty much maxed. They have gotten some... Wait, did they change their... No, they're still on service by requirement. Okay, I'm a little surprised that they got 100k manpower back. I'm definitely surprised about that. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting to me. Okay, so I'd like to pull some units, I think, from here. And pull these guys into... How many units do we need over here? We need... let's see here, 12? Yeah, so we need a total of 6. I'm going to pull 6 infantry divisions here. There we go. And we're going to place them out over here. Unfortunate. And we're going to begin researching, I think, Signals Company. Excellent. Now, we might want to do a little bit of modifications on what we've got going on here. So, this division here, they've got anti-air support, they've got support artillery, they've got an engineer company, a field hospital, and a logistics company. I feel like maybe we drop the support anti-air. Let's see, the signal company will only reduce the organization by a small amount. It will reduce the supply use, but that's not, I feel like, really our biggest issue. No, I'm not going to modify this at this time. I am, however, thinking about starting to recruit a couple of units of garrison. And slowly switching our Coast Guard over to using the garrison units. Remember, those are only width 20, and so that should free up quite a large amount of manpower as we start replacing those. The infantry units in here. Like, that'll be a very large amount of manpower, in fact. I'm also going to disband this cavalry unit. And there's a cavalry unit in here as well. Where are you, Mr. Cavalry Unit? There you are. Excellent. Okay, so we'll get rid of those cavalry units. There we go. And we're going to continue having our Coast Guards be anyone who comes from one of our subject nations, as well as these fresh new garrison units. So that'll be fine. And then we will move infantry units from the Coast Guard into our aggressive divisions here. What did we lose here? We lost a unit of tank. Okay. That's definitely slightly upsetting, but not surprising considering we're on aggressive attack, right? That's deeply, deeply unsurprising. Actually, we're unbalanced. That makes it a little more surprising. In fact, that makes it quite a lot more surprising. I'm actually going to start training like a lot more of these. We're going to start doing 8 divisions of these simultaneously. And we don't have a location set for them right now. We're just going to set in our capital. Or close enough. So yeah, that's going to be the idea here. Every division of garrison that we have here is going to free up at twice as much manpower as it creates, in theory. So we're going to create a lot of divisions of these simultaneously. In fact, I'm going to do 10. Now that's going to make our manpower look like it plummets, but it's not actually going to plummet. And we're just going to slowly over time replace these and move our infantry divisions into this army group, where we're going to have just the single army group for our offensive force. And that'll be fine. And our Coast Guard will switch over to the garrison units. Fantastic. So we're mostly just holding this line and working on that. We really do need to work on our supplies up here, and we are in progress on that. There's only so much we can do on that front, though. Let's check our trade here, see if there's anything that we can really do. Let's see, we're currently trading 168 oil, yeah, that's a thing. Let's grab a little bit extra steel from the Russian Federation. That'll be fine. That will back us off a little bit on our constructions over here. But again, that's completely fine. So we are continually working on these repairs. There's continually being more damage to them, of course. And where is this? Yeah, that's over there. That's actually not that important. We shouldn't be working on that one. Why are we working on that one? I don't know. Which ones do we need to be working on? Let's see here. Kurensk? Yes, we absolutely do want to work on Kurensk. Northern Siberia? Yes. Kamchatka we don't care about. Anything else over here that we do care about? No, not exactly. Okay. So we'll call that good for now. Advanced anti-tank has finished up. We are now done with the artillery tree. Fantastic. Are we done with the infantry tree? No, there's still all of this stuff. Let's go ahead and work on, say, Mountain Infantry 1. We're not really using any specialists right now, and that's a big part of the reason why we get bogged down in situations like this. But that's fine. That is completely fine. We are beginning to run low on convoys. That's definitely a thing. Definitely a thing. We are working on convoys, right? Production. I mean, we kind of don't have the resources for them. Yeah, we're going to do something along the lines of this, and we're going to back off these destroyers like that. Okay, so now if we had the steel getting through the modern tank line, it would get to the convoys. In fact, I'm going to do this. We don't want to run out of convoys. That would be bad. Okay, infantry division here. That goes into, I believe, this army. Actually, no, this army is full of infantry. And it doesn't go there either. It goes into a new army that gets assigned here. Okay. That is not a garrison division. It'll be a while before the garrison divisions are done. So that'll be good. And we'll be able to free up a lot of this manpower that's currently unnecessarily in the Coast Guard. So that is going to be fantastic. So we're just going to continue to let this sit for right now, I think, and work on reinforcing these armies. Now, Japan is taking losses over here for sure, but we don't really have the power to punch through over here, it seems, which is unsurprising, if I'm honest. I'm actually going to back off on our number of modern tanks here, and let's get working on infantry equipment 3 as well. Like that. And then we'll bring that back up, like so. Now, we're not getting any steel through here, so let's do that. Okay. And we want to work up that production efficiency. We're actually winning an attack over here. Now we're not. As, I suppose, fairly expected. The question is, do we need these guys to be fully trained? Wait. Wait a second. No, these are garrisons. It is coming out as infantry divisions, which is a little bit awkward. I'm going to change the icon of this just so that we can differentiate easily. There we go. Excellent. Oh, we were winning over here again. We're actually very close to winning. We've pushed them back. The question is, for how long? That is a valid question. How are our supplies looking over here? Still pretty grim in these two states, and that is fairly expected at this point. We have to push in, or else we can't really solve our supply line issues here. It is deeply unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. Just the way it is. So we're going to continue working on getting these guys ready to go. I think I'm going to instantly deploy some of these. We really don't need to have them be fully trained, I don't think. So we're going to let them get 1% more training here, which will be done, I believe, tomorrow. Yes, there we go. Now we're going to instantly deploy all of these. Perfect. Now, all 8 of those are going to go into one of these units. Let's see here. This one needs how many units? There we go. Needs 65 total. So we're going to send 5 of them over here. This is currently 10. That's right. So we're going to send 5 over here, and we're mostly just looking to fill these out first. This one's already at 26. This one needs to be at 74, so the other 5 will go there. Excellent. And then this one will need to be at 58, and this one 29. So that'll go, and yeah, our manpower is absolutely plummeting right now. I am well aware of this. That was always going to be a thing, but we're going to be able to start shifting troops back into the manpower pool fairly soon-ish. We did get a push here. Are we actually going to hold this? It looks like we are. Excellent. Are you retreating? They're not retreating, they're just walking out. Okay. That's fine. So we did manage to get a push and hold there. That is within this state, which is actually huge. That is actually huge. Now, we don't have control of the state yet, but we definitely want to get control over this state. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to remove this offensive line, and we are going to take a look at this state borders. Okay. And we are going to put our offensive line being at this state's borders, which is approximately like that. I don't think it's actually that. Yeah, these are not considered part of it. So let's go ahead and pull these back a little bit. I want to edit this front line. Apparently, I cannot edit this front line. Or rather, the offensive line. That's what I want to edit. What am I doing? Offensive line. We are going to... No, I don't want to make a new one. I want to edit this existing one. This guy's standing on it. Helpful. You know what? It's good enough. Okay, so that's what we want to do right now. We want to take this state. That is very, very important to us. So we will get set up for that. And taking these two over here is still important to us because that's still part of this supply region, right? So that is very, very important. We want this whole supply region on our side. So we will get to work on that. Yes, our manpower is absolutely plummeting right now. This is to be expected. Absolutely. And I think at this point... Let's see. We still need a lot more in these garrison units. That's definitely a thing. A lot more units here. We seem to have stopped getting units from our vassal nations, so that's definitely something to consider as well. That's another push over here. I like it. That's very, very nice. So, yeah, I think we may have to start just straight up replacing units rather than what we were doing there, which was just putting them in places where there's gaps. I think we're going to need to replace units with this current round. We can maybe do like every other one where we fill in gap and then replace unit, then fill in gap, replace unit, fill in gap, replace unit. Something along those lines. So that's definitely going to be a concern, but I think it should be fine. Japan is continuing to take major, major losses over in India. And we're starting to make gains over here as well, so that is fantastic. There's only so much that they can actually do here to hold this off. They are basically out of manpower. There's Recon Company 4. Okay. And we are going to grab some special forces then. Okay. Sounds good. Naval bombers finishing up. We're also going to grab some close air support. Excellent. It would be very nice to take this airbase over here, but I don't really think that's going to be a thing. I would like to tell the army that's assigned over here. Apparently I can't zoom. I'm not sure why I can't... Oh, there we go. Now I can zoom. That was awkward. Which army is this? This is Army 2. Okay. So this army here, I'd like to tell them to do an offensive line right there. And they can go ahead and execute that. I want them to get fairly aggressive over here too. Get in there. Excellent. This is a modern tank brigade that will move up into there. Great. And we're going to be able to deploy these guys fairly shortly. It's going to be a little while yet. But that's fine. So we're going to continue to take some action over this way. And that should, in theory, be fine. I'm just looking at our army group distribution here and thinking... I think we're not ready to rearrange our army groups quite yet. But it will be soon. It will definitely be soon. Kurensk almost has its final construction of infrastructure done. That's pretty huge. We're very happy about that. Very, very happy about that indeed. And we are beginning to produce a decent number of infantry equipment 3s again. So that is great. Let's check in on our recruitment on our garrison units. They're going to be ready very, very soon. Okay. So here in about 3 days, we'll deploy those. And then we're going to use them to replace units in here. Or not exactly replace. Many of those units will shift over to the front. But we are running very low on manpower, and I am aware of this. And that's why we're making this effort here. The question is, do we even need... for our... what? No, I want to edit this. Do we even need a combat width of 20 for our garrison units? I'm not convinced necessarily that we do. But maybe. Let's go ahead and deploy all of these. And those units will move into this army. And they are going to replace 10 units of infantry. Those 10 units of infantry will be moved into this army to the front. So we only need 5 more units of infantry in total at the front. Okay, we are currently out of manpower. I'm aware of this. So I'm going to move these 5 units of infantry to the front. And we are going to send them into this army. Okay, so we need 5 more units of garrison here. And of course, as we replace these with garrison units, these guys are going to get disbanded and returned to the manpower pool. So we're going to get some manpower ticks here and there, but it's going to be about another 40 days until we can really get some manpower back. So that'll be fine. We just researched Mountain Infantry 1. That's okay. And we want to grab probably Mountain Infantry 2. No, I don't want to replace this. I want to grab from here. There we go. That'll do. So our manpower looks like it's in dire straits right now. It's actually a lot better than it looks. And we're not that concerned about the current manpower, although this is a lot of allied troops on their way over here, and that I am fairly pleased with. They're not exactly allied, but they're not enemy troops. There, we got a good manpower tick, and it's gone. I'm not shocked by this. I'm not shocked by this at all, but these 10 units are now under training, and that's perfect, and they're going to be replacing these infantry units. In fact, what we can do right now is we can take these 5 infantry units and simply disband them. Like so. And that instantly gets us back 100,000 manpower. Fantastic. That's what we're expecting to get back for every time that we have these garrison units good to go. So these 10 are just going to go directly into this Coast Guard. And that'll be fine. We're going to continue replacing all of these infantry divisions. They are currently rather wasteful on the manpower front. However, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode we're going to continue pushing against Japan. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I'll see you all next time when we will realize that we actually need an additional 16 units of infantry up here. Yikes.